Welcome to Prince Talk, Chronicles of a Jamaican Educator. This is the first episode of a series which involves us listening to Jamaican educators share their stories of their journeys. It promises to be real and inspiring. The educational landscape is a beautiful one, so at the Cedar Grove Academy, we want to highlight the impact that this landscape would have had on the wider society. With me today, we have a Jamaican educator who, of course, would be able to share inspirational stories. So let us welcome him. Who are you and what is your name?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. The name is Kurt Brooks, everybody call me Brooks.
And how long have you been teaching, Teacher Brooks?
I've been teaching since 2003. I believe that is about 17 years thereabout.
Most definitely, if I do the math correctly, it is 17 years, and that seems to be a long time in the profession. So what is your source of motivation for remaining in such a profession?
I'm always a person who always wants to help people. Not limited to education only, but I've always tried my best to help, to give a helping hand here and there, wherever I can, whenever I can. So the education system is an avenue where could explore those options in terms of helping others. So I guess that's where I had ventured in terms of helping persons.
Oh, so you really love to help people. So what is your area of specialization though?
I'm a physical education teacher, also a little bit of science here and there. But physical education is also leaning to the science aspect of education, because physical education, as we all know, that in terms of sports and how your body adapt to situation, training and so forth, so it's basically science-based as well.
So in summing up your educational journey thus far, could you just share a story?
The story is quite interesting because my desire wasn't to become a teacher. It's just that my ambition was to become an architect, but the maths and I couldn't agree, we weren't compatible any at all. But it's just that one day after leaving high school, I was considering what is it that I'm going to do. So I was home for about a year, there sitting down, thinking about my next move and so forth, and a lot of things come in mind, probably go and do over math so I could get to do the architect or whatever the case may be. But I got a phone call from one of my former coaches asking me what is it that I'm doing. Said to him that I'm here at home, not really doing anything yet, just considering what is it I'm going to do. So he asked me about if I ever heard about GC first. I told him, yeah man, I heard about it, and he asked me if I would want to go there. And I look back and I said, alright, since I'm here doing anything, no problem. So he sent me to a particular person at the institution, the vice principal. I went to him and I got accepted, and the rest was history. Here am I now.
So would you say, even though you didn't want to become a teacher at first, do you regret being an educator at this time?
No, because in life there's something I always take with me. It's not what you want, it's what wants you. So I guess I wanted architect, but I guess education or teaching rather wanted me, so here am I, still at it.
So with that experience as an educator for 17 years, share with us a story about one student that stood out to you.
Alright, during my years of teaching, there are a lot of students who probably stood out to me. But if I keep it current, there's one particular student here at the Cedar Grove Academy. Each time I enter that classroom, there's nothing in terms of knowing that student. When I say that, I mean that the student, he doesn't participate. He's always sitting there quietly, not saying anything and so forth. But I realize every time I'm marking a paper, this name stood out in terms of the grade. And I'm saying, I don't know that child. And every time the test paper comes and every time I mark, he's always getting higher than everybody else. So one day I went to the class and said, who is such student? And when I look, I said, you name sir? He said, yes sir. And I shake my head. I said, boy, if anybody could tell me that it was you, boy, I wouldn't believe. So he's always there hitting the nail right on the head.
So with that story then, it highlights to us that the work being done is an important part of education.
Yes, I believe he's one of those students who, whenever, you have those students who, when they go home, they take their book and they read and they read and they read and they practice and they practice. So I figure that he's one of those students.
Alright, so thank you for sharing that story, Teacher Brooks. I know that the education landscape, of course, is dynamic. Share with us a story about one wow moment that you would have experienced as an educator.
There's a lot as well, but again, let me try and keep it current. Our former student, Randy Anderson, he was a part of our first football team to enter the Money Cup. We went to Tony Spalding Sports Complex up by Honor Garden to play Charlie Smith. We lost the game 7-5, but the thing about it is that he scored a goal, and that goal will forever live in my memory. From about half-line, and for those who know a football field, half-lines are far away from the goal. And we got a free kick, and when Randy just walked up to that ball and he struck it, the ball went straight into the goal. And the thing about it, the spectators, they stood up and they applaud him. I say, yo man, what a goal that goal is bad. Boy, I wish I could have do it again, And I was like, a school of no name in sport, but the reception that he got from the spectators because of the goal that he scored, that goal will forever live in my memory. Trust me.
That's a very good story. And I would add too that, remember, our school started in 2013.
Right.
So I know that was roughly like 2013, 2014 for that to take place. So thank you for sharing that story as well. Now I know that there are highs and lows on this journey. Could you share with us a story about one heart-rending experience that you would have had as an educator?
That definitely have to be when I was teaching at STETS. I used to have this student in one of my classes, hardly come to school, but getting the job done. And he was a sickly child. I realized that after about a few weeks or so, I'm not seeing this child. So I started to investigate, what's wrong with the child. I got to understand that he had passed away. And when I heard, I said, what happened to him? They said that he was diagnosed with cancer. So, it really shook me up, Trust me, I really felt it because there's a student who had a bright future. But to some, whatever way the situation may be, he had to give in to the circumstances of the sickness, because, and he was doing exceptionally well in school because he's always getting his good grade and so forth. We just have to live and ensure that, we take care of ourselves as much as possible. Even though we do that, we still can't guarantee anything at all.
But what I should say, because that's really a touching story too, is that we must embrace the life that we have now.
Definitely.
Because we can't tell when we won't be here.
We can't guarantee anything in life.
So with those stories though, Teacher Brooks, is there a tagline that you want us to remember you by?
As I said, leaving a tagline that I use in my everyday teaching. I was doing some research and I come up on a particular phrase, from an educator, a past educator. They call it a theorist. He said that if a child can't learn the way you teach the way the child learns. So most of the time as educators, we try our best as possible to get the content across to the student, but there's something that is blocking the student from receiving the content. But when I look back at it, I said yeah, here we are trying to teach a child, but do we understand how the child learns? So I guess that's kind of suits me, you know. If a child can learn the way you teach the way the child will learn.
So there you have it. Teacher Kurt Brooks, a member of the Cedar Grove Academy's staff. We want to thank him for sharing his stories, which I know will be inspirational to us. Is there any Instagram account that you have that you know persons would like to give a shout out to you that they can reach you on?
Well, funny enough, you know, I've just do up a page, you know. So one day one of them said to me, sir, you need to make an Instagram page. And I say, alright, how you go about doing that? And they start laugh again, but they told me, and I went home one day and I, you know, got my phone and started doing things. So I ended up creating a page, and I realized it was fun. It's very informative. There's a lot of things on there where you can go and learn and, you know, do all sort of other things. So yes, I might have an Instagram page.
So share with us now if we want to contact you or persons would like to contact you.
I think it's brooks.kurt81. Yeah, I think that's the Instagram page, right?
Alright, so students can also teach teachers.
Yes, definitely.
That's profound. So thanks again. Thank you for listening. Prince Talk, Chronicles of a Jamaican Educator, or Motivational Monday feature.